I just picked up this manga. Okay, I was reading it. I was like, hey, you know what? I was trying to find something that I was gonna get interested in, and then I found this. Right? I was like, okay, let's go, let's read this shit. This kind of looks nice. And it pretty much was okay because the story is, to put it simply, it's about a horse who ends up rest in peacing. You know what I mean? She dies, and then gets reincarnated by like some goddess into a human being. She turns into a girl. Yeah, I'm not bullshitting you. That is literally the premise of this manga. Now, I'm not some horny bastard who's like, "Oh yeah, let's go turning animals into girls." You know what I mean, right? Typically, with these kinds of manga, you'd think like it was some kind of ecchi anime or ecchi manga, right? You're gonna be like, yeah, it's one of those, weird ass, manga where it's like everything just turns into a girl, and there's only one guy, and it's like, what? Oh my goodness, you're ruining it. Yeah, pretty much. This isn't what the manga is about. Okay, it's like every single like manga out there that's correlated to like having knights and all that, being medieval stuff and whatnot. For some reason, there's no magic in this. That'll be very important to me. Again, this video is gonna have a lot of spoilers, but pretty much I did enjoy my read with this story. Definitely very, how can I say it, like I don't want to diss this manga. It's not something that's really bad altogether, but I do think it's a little bit more on the fantasy kind of side, which it pretty much is. Okay, it pretty much is fantasy. It's more so that the story is centered with the interactions between the characters, right? So you have Lucania, which is like the main character's horse, right? She ends up dying. She gets shot by multiple arrows, and I'm like, no, the horsey, right? Got shot with multiple arrows. Then you have the main character, Latius, who's like, oh my gosh, that's my horse. Apparently, in this story, right? Not stories. Horses are a big part of like, not just the story, but horses are a big part in this like in this universe thingy. And because they're a big part, it's like there's some low-key weird undertones that aren't even like in there, okay? Because there's literally a panel here. Let me just show y'all if I could. There's a panel here where there's a side character. There's a side character in the story. His name is Fuller, right? Fuller Grants or whatever. Yeah, but by the way, a lot of have y'all noticed this? Whenever there's like fantasy manga, the way authors name their characters is they just pick out names from like English, French, German, or I don't know, fucking Italian names. I'm like, motherfucker, I've seen enough names with like fucking Fuller, Heinz, crazy part as well, Latius. That name sounds Roman, Latin, whatever, right? But yeah, pretty much there's a side character. The female lead ends up checking him out, not in that way, okay? Because clearly the side character is preoccupied with somebody. Yeah, I don't know why horses kind of play a big part in this story. Like, I think there's some reason behind why horses play a big part. I mean, you have like shit like this. Oh man, that's kind of funny. Yeah, pretty much he's saying thank you for always staying by my side. Guess what? The name of the horse is Tia, and the crazy part is the author literally drew the horse with, guess what? Feminine fucking human eyes. Amazing, bro. Absolutely amazing. It's just weird because like you have shit like this, right? Why? There's no need. There's absolutely no need for you to do it, but you did. Yeah, as I've said, there's like some very huge undertones with this story where like, you know, the human characters have some kind of some kind of really close attachment with some of the horses. Like I can understand that, right? In a emotional perspective, we get attached with animals, right? But in the story, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like it's a little bit more like the undertones are kind of, they're showing a little bit. Like I don't want to say it, you know what, fuck it. Yeah, pretty much humans fucking love horses to the point where it's like it's like you wouldn't be surprised if it went down a sexual route. And I know that's fucking weird, man. The thing is, I don't even want to say it, but does this thing happen vice versa? I don't want to say it because I've had traumatic experiences. E.g., for example, Berserk. I'm gonna just keep it at that. I'm not gonna say anything more about it. But pretty much that's what I'm saying. Okay. The thing is why I'm not too crazy about like the, you know, about the male characters getting really intertwined, to say the least, with some of the female horses is because I don't know. Look, this story is pretty much crazy in and of itself because, you know, it pretty much is. It's just okay. What if, you know, the male lead has this really intimate not intimate, but he has a really close relationship with his horse. I wouldn't even be surprised if he had an intimate relationship with his horse. I wouldn't be surprised, right? That, like, these characters all have close relationships with their horse, too close to say the least. The thing is, the fact that there are, like, you know, they really put an emphasis on like the genders, I guess, of like horses, because you go look at other anime, right, and they do have horses, but it's not like they go crazy about the details of the horses. In here they do. They have names, they have male, female names. I know that's kind of odd pointing it out, but the thing is, when you have characters, when you have horses that turn into fucking humans, that just simply implies that even if they weren't humans, right, they were they're just horses, and they have female characteristics. I mean, bro, you literally have a character, right? This guy, Latius, who's so freaking into his horse. Not in any manner. Okay, I don't want to say anything. I mean, I definitely don't want to say sexual. He wasn't really, you know, into his horse like that. But you can definitely see that he has like a huge attachment for his horse. I get that, especially if you're young. But for a guy who's like in the medieval fantasy kind of setting where horses die pretty much because of wars, it's kind of surprising. But I mean, if you have a manga where the story literally has a saint for horses, which is, by the way, it's actually true, there is a saint for horses IRL, but they have like events for horses. Pretty much the whole universe, for some reason, the whole universe of this manga revolves around horses. I don't know why specifically horses, but I mean, it puts for an interesting story, I guess. The way I'm seeing how the story is gonna end, right? Because there is, look, the way these stories go is they always have that day, right? What do I mean by that day? They always point out a day that tends to be like the final day of something, right? Whatever it is, like something similar to, like, I don't know, end of the world kind of situation, or maybe a celebration day or something, or maybe there's a party or a ball that happens. Normally that's like anticipation towards the end of something, and in this case, the end of this manga would be there's just like equestrian, they call it like the equestrian like kind of competition, where like they let their horses, it's like a dog show, but it's not a dog show, it's more like a horse show. And the way they do it is they have a bunch of games, or a bunch of competitions. I'm like, okay, some of them are understandable. They have ones where it's like horseback archery, okay. the thing that I was confused the most though, they didn't have horse racing, and they didn't have the ones where you know how it goes where it's like they're on horseback but they're wearing full armor and they have like lances and they go boom, hit each other. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know why they don't have that. I guess they, the author didn't really take that into consideration, but whatever, right? I am enjoying the story. It's a little bit more timid. I guess for a lot of people who might read this, it's not something you go crazy for. Like, it's not really something that you go like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next chapter next week. It's pretty standard. It's a pretty standard story, but it's a nice story in my case, because I feel like when I'm reading these kinds of stories, it's something that I just read when I'm lying on my bed. Mind you, I'm the type of person to read manga when I'm like, before I go to sleep. I like it. It's very relaxing. It's very calming. It helps me, well, it doesn't help me per se go to sleep, but it's definitely one of, the things that I like to do before I go to sleep, right? And then I get really sleepy and then I just put my phone down and then, it's nice. The thing is, right, when I do read these kinds of mangas, I like to read them at night because, again, it's something that I do to relax myself, to calm myself down, to just, hey, pretty much letting myself shut down before the day. I read something very nice. I read something very warm, soft, relaxing, right? And and that's pretty much why I don't always read manga that's like, action or anything. Like, for example, right, I did say I was reading Dan Dan Dan, and I actually have. I'm 3 chapters in, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 4 chapters in. I can't comment on it. I can't say anything about it as of right now. Am I hooked? Too early for me to say. There's like 180 plus chapters already out for this manga, so that's a lot of reading for me. I'm not even sure, but I think every single chapter is like 50 plus pages. What's with that? That's like, bro, you're uploading a chapter every single week, 50 pages. I'm honestly very surprised you're able to do that, because a lot of mangaka artists have difficulty even putting out 30 pages per week. I'm happy that you can do it, okay? But damn, that's a lot of pages for me to read. But I can't be reading that at night because it's action packed. It's like a lot of things are happening, and sometimes with these types of mangas, you actually want to put in 100% of your focus. Smaller mangas like these, it's nice. I like having them because they are relaxing, right? It's not just me being all fuzzy and warm about reading a romance manga wherein a horse literally turns to a girl. Would you do that though? I would do. I would. If I found out that an animal can turn into a girl. Look, I don't mean anything like I do unspeakable things. I don't mean like that. Don't get me wrong. Okay, don't understand me in that kind of sense. I'm just saying that that's really cool because at least now, people who would be like, yeah, I'd smash it. This. I'm like, bro, that's kind of uncomfortable, right? Because like, what the fuck would you literally have a character that's so into a horse? At least the horse turned into a girl, right? Would you do that though? If there was an animal that can turn into a girl, would you do that? I mean, would. As long as there's consent, would. I'd even be like, hey, if it was a panda, would. A cat, would. I'm not saying I'm doing it with the animal. I'm saying I do it if they can transform into. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. Hope you all had a blessed day, afternoon, evening. I'll see y'all on the next video. Bye bye. Sayonara, everybody.